Did you know that watching porn isn't just a private pastime? It's shaping your brain, affecting your relationships, and even influencing society. Today, we'll uncover the surprising science behind why porn might be more dangerous than you think. From addiction to emotional impacts. Pornography is a highly debated topic with many perspectives on its impact on individuals and society. While some believe that it can have limited or even neutral effects, many argue that pornography can be harmful in various ways, especially when consumed excessively or without proper understanding of its effects. Here is a comprehensive look into the reasons why pornography is often considered dangerous by critics, based on psychological, social, and physical health perspectives. 1. Psychological and emotional impact. Desensitization and addiction. Frequent exposure to pornography can lead to desensitization, where the brain becomes accustomed to certain levels of arousal, requiring increasingly intense or varied material to achieve the same effect. This pattern can create an addiction-like loop, with individuals feeling a compulsion to seek more extreme content. Such behavior can disrupt daily life, affecting personal responsibilities, academic or career performance, and relationships. This addiction cycle, often associated with dopamine release, mimics other addictive behaviors, potentially making it difficult for individuals to cut down or stop use, even if it negatively impacts their well-being. Altered expectations and unrealistic views of sex. Pornography typically portrays sex as a fantasy, often disregarding real-world communication, consent, and emotional connection. The exaggerated performances, body standards, and dynamics create unrealistic expectations, which may lead to dissatisfaction with actual sexual encounters. In relationships, these distorted views can cause tension. One partner may feel pressured to meet impossible standards, leading to insecurity, body image issues, and emotional disconnect. Over time, individuals may struggle to feel genuine intimacy or satisfaction in their relationships, feeling unfulfilled due to the contrast between reality and the idealized scenarios in porn. Mental health issues. Extensive research links prolonged pornography use with mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, and loneliness. Social isolation often accompanies excessive use, as individuals may withdraw from real-world connections and relationships. Feelings of guilt or shame may arise from porn consumption, particularly if it conflicts with personal or cultural beliefs, which can exacerbate anxiety and depression. This cycle of guilt, withdrawal, and increased use can deepen mental health struggles, potentially creating a dependency as a coping mechanism. 2. Relationship and social impact. Damage to intimate relationships. In many cases, porn use can create a barrier between partners, with one feeling neglected or less valued when compared to the appeal of pornographic content. Such use can make a partner feel insecure or unwanted, leading to intimacy issues, reduced sexual satisfaction, and sometimes even infidelity or divorce. This disconnect is particularly evident when the porn-consuming partner becomes emotionally distant, leaving the other feeling unsupported. Communication and trust may suffer, creating a strain that can be difficult to resolve without addressing the root of the problem. Objectification of partners. Pornography frequently emphasizes appearance and sexual acts, sometimes sidelining emotional connection or respect. This can reinforce a mindset in which individuals are valued more for physical attributes than for their intellect, emotions, or character. Such objectification can seep into real-world relationships, potentially leading to diminished respect, empathy, and satisfaction. Partners may feel reduced to physical attributes, damaging their self-esteem and fostering superficial dynamics rather than deep, meaningful connections. Increased risk of aggression. Some studies indicate that heavy pornography consumption, especially content that includes violent or degrading themes, can lead to heightened aggression and a greater likelihood of endorsing non-consensual or harmful behaviors. Exposure to such content can normalize these attitudes, impacting one's views on appropriate sexual behavior and potentially increasing aggressive tendencies or tolerance for harm within relationships. 3. Cognitive and neurological impact. Changes in brain structure and function. Research shows that prolonged pornography use can alter brain structure and function in ways similar to addictive substances. The brain's reward pathways, triggered by dopamine release during viewing, create a cycle that reinforces consumption. This reinforcement can rewire the brain, particularly in areas related to motivation, impulse control, and decision-making. Over time, these changes can impair one's ability to resist urges, fostering a dependence that impacts day-to-day life and well-being. Impaired judgment and decision-making. Individuals who frequently consume pornography may begin to view sex, relationships, and self-worth through a skewed lens, affecting their choices and standards for healthy sexual behavior. This may include risky sexual practices or a reliance on pornographic standards to gauge what's normal, even if it contradicts their values or priorities. The challenge lies in distinguishing between healthy sexual exploration and behaviors shaped by unrealistic or harmful media. With impaired decision-making, individuals may struggle to maintain balanced, fulfilling relationships or make choices aligned with their true values and well-being. 4. Physical health risks. Sexual dysfunction. Studies suggest that excessive pornography consumption can contribute to various forms of sexual dysfunction, particularly among men. This includes issues like erectile dysfunction, ED, delayed ejaculation, and decreased sexual satisfaction in real-life relationships. These dysfunctions may stem from a kind of conditioning, where the brain becomes reliant on the intense stimulation that pornography provides. Over time, this can make it difficult for individuals to feel aroused or maintain interest in typical sexual interactions that lack the novelty or extremity seen in pornography, creating a feedback loop of dependency on explicit content for sexual satisfaction. Masturbation and compulsive behaviors. Pornography can encourage compulsive masturbation, which, when done excessively, may lead to physical health issues such as genital irritation, soreness, or other sexual health concerns. Compulsive behaviors around pornography and masturbation can interfere with daily responsibilities, social life, and overall well-being. These behaviors may also lead to psychological concerns, such as guilt, shame, or anxiety, especially if individuals feel unable to control their urges. The cycle of compulsion can impact self-esteem, creating a pattern of self-isolation and mental health challenges. 5. Impact on society. Normalization of harmful practices. Certain types of pornography frequently promote non-consensual, violent, or degrading sexual acts, which can influence viewers' perceptions of normal sexual behavior. Repeated exposure to this content, especially without proper guidance, may lead individuals to view aggression, dominance, or coercion as acceptable or even desirable in sexual relationships. This normalization of harmful practices poses a particular risk to young people, who may not yet have a firm understanding of consent or healthy relationships. By presenting aggressive or degrading behaviors as commonplace, pornography can erode societal standards for respect, mutual consent, and empathy within intimate relationships. Exploitation and human trafficking. The pornography industry has been criticized for its ties to unethical practices, including exploitation, coercion, and, in some cases, human trafficking. Some performers are manipulated or pressured into participating, often without adequate legal or medical protection, putting their physical and emotional well-being at risk. Supporting the pornography industry indirectly supports these unethical practices, as consumer demand fuels a market where individuals may be exploited for profit. This perpetuates a cycle of exploitation and raises moral and ethical concerns about the wider impact of pornography on vulnerable individuals and society. 6. Impact on children and adolescents. Exposure to pornography at a young age. With the rise of internet accessibility, children and adolescents are frequently exposed to explicit content well before they are developmentally ready to process it. Early exposure to pornography can be confusing or traumatic, creating an environment of premature sexualization that can have long-lasting effects on emotional and sexual development. Studies link early exposure to pornography with increased risk-taking behaviors, such as early sexual activity or unprotected sex. Young viewers may internalize distorted ideas about sex and relationships, which can impact their mental health, sense of self-worth, and approach to intimacy as they grow older. Distorted sexual development. Adolescents exposed to pornography may develop an unrealistic understanding of sex, one that emphasizes physical pleasure while ignoring emotional intimacy, mutual respect, or consent. These misconceptions can lead to negative attitudes toward healthy sexual relationships, impacting their future romantic and sexual partnerships. This distorted view may also foster a belief that sexual performance or physical appearance are more important than emotional connection, potentially leading to dissatisfaction, insecurity, or dysfunctional relationship patterns as they navigate adulthood. 7. Ethical and legal considerations. Consent issues. Consent within the adult industry is complex, as some performers may face coercion, manipulation, or financial pressure to participate. This lack of true, voluntary consent can be troubling for consumers who unknowingly support content produced through exploitative practices. Ethical concerns around consent raise questions about the legitimacy and authenticity of the industry, and whether it respects the rights, autonomy, and well-being of performers. Increased awareness of these issues has led to calls for more transparency and safeguards to protect performers from exploitation. Legal implications. The legal landscape around pornography is intricate and varies widely by country. Issues such as child pornography, revenge porn, and non-consensual distribution present serious legal challenges, as they involve clear exploitation and violation of individuals' rights. Protecting minors is a significant concern, as the accessibility of explicit content online can easily expose children and adolescents to harmful material. Laws around the creation, distribution, and consumption of pornographic content aim to prevent exploitation, though enforcement and regulation remain complex and contentious in many places. 8. Cultural and societal concerns. Reinforcement of gender stereotypes. Pornography often perpetuates traditional gender roles, where men are portrayed as dominant and assertive, while women are depicted as submissive or overly accommodating. These portrayals reinforce gender stereotypes that can influence societal views on gender dynamics, creating unrealistic expectations for both men and women. This skewed representation of gender roles contributes to larger issues of gender inequality by implicitly supporting the idea that one gender should dominate or control the other in intimate relationships. Such narratives can influence viewers' attitudes and behavior in their own relationships, potentially perpetuating power imbalances and reducing mutual respect. Impact on body image. Pornography often idealizes a narrow, sometimes unrealistic, standard of beauty and body type, showing performers with exaggerated physical traits or flawless appearances. This portrayal can lead to body dissatisfaction for viewers who feel pressured to conform to these ideals. Both men and women may struggle with self-esteem issues, feeling inadequate or insecure about their own bodies when compared to what they see in pornographic content. This can impact mental health, promoting unhealthy practices in the pursuit of an unattainable physical standard and affecting confidence in real-life intimacy. 9. Addiction and compulsive consumption. Escalation. Like other addictive behaviors, pornography consumption can escalate over time. Users often begin with mild content but may gradually seek more extreme or taboo material to achieve the same level of arousal. This escalation, driven by the brain's desensitization, can lead to increased dependency and may result in exposure to content that conflicts with personal morals or societal norms. This pattern can impact mental health and sexual function, leading to difficulties in distinguishing healthy sexual behavior from compulsive habits or fixations on particular scenarios that may not align with real-life values. Neglect of real-life relationships. As pornography use increases, it can cause individuals to prioritize consumption over real-life relationships and responsibilities. This neglect may lead to isolation, as users withdraw from partners, family, friends, or work in favor of engaging with pornographic content. Over time, this pattern can create a cycle of loneliness and detachment, where social isolation exacerbates the psychological toll of addiction. Breaking this cycle often requires addressing both the addiction itself and the underlying emotional factors that drive it. 10. Possible positive uses of pornography. Exploration of sexuality. For some people, pornography serves as a way to explore aspects of sexuality that might otherwise be difficult to access or discuss openly. It can provide insights into preferences, sexual diversity, and anatomy, particularly for those lacking comprehensive sexual education or safe spaces to explore their sexuality. However, the educational value of pornography is limited by the ethical considerations of the content itself. Without realistic portrayals, respectful representation, and informed consent from performers, pornographic content may perpetuate harmful stereotypes or expectations. When consumed responsibly and with a critical eye, some forms of pornography may contribute to personal understanding and a more open view of sexual diversity. Conclusion. Pornography is a complex issue with a range of impacts on mental health, relationships, and societal attitudes. Although it may provide a means of sexual exploration for some, the potential for negative consequences is significant, particularly when use becomes excessive or is not balanced with healthy, real-life interactions and education. Problems like desensitization, addiction, and unrealistic expectations can affect not only individual mental health but also the quality and dynamics of intimate relationships. For individuals who struggle with problematic use, seeking support through counseling or therapy can be beneficial in addressing the underlying emotional or psychological factors driving these behaviors. Through mindful consumption and an understanding of the broader impacts, society can work towards a more balanced and ethical approach to how pornography is viewed and consumed.